starting the first chapter from your book, The Real Numbers. Before we start the chapter of your book, it's important to recapitulate what the things you have done in your previous class 9. There was a chapter in class 9 named Rational Numbers. Rational number is also important to understand for understanding this chapter, because rational number is also a number set, set of number which belongs to real numbers only. What was rational number? Just recapitulate and understand. Rational number was the number which can be expressed in the form P by Q, where Q not equals to 0 and HCF of P and Q should be 1. That means P and Q should be co-prime numbers. P and Q should be completely in the simplest form. Then only we can say any number to be a rational number. There are many kinds of rational number, many irrational numbers. Irrational numbers like root 2, root 5, root 7, root 11. These are all irrational numbers. And rational numbers, any number which can be expressed in the form of P by Q. If you just remind it, you will also get to know that you learned about the decimal. You learned about the decimal expansion also. You learned that there are two kinds of decimal expansion. One is terminating and the other is non-terminating decimal expansion. You learned that all the non-terminating decimal expansions are irrational numbers and the terminating decimal numbers were rational. Why? Because the terminating rational numbers can be expressed in the form of P by Q. Suppose if I have a terminating decimal number like 1.01, I can express this as 101 by 100. It can be expressed in the form of P by Q and it's already in the simplest form. So it is a rational number. Okay, one interesting thing which you learned in your previous class was about there are two kinds of non-terminating decimal numbers. Those were recurring and non-recurring. What was recurring decimal number? Recurring decimal number was the number in which any number after the decimal points repeats one after another. That was called recurring. Suppose 1.57, 57, 57 and so on. This is also a non-terminating decimal number, but this is recurring. And the other was the non-terminating, non-recurring number, like any number like 1.756347 ... So the interesting thing which you learned in your previous class was that in spite of this decimal number being recurring and being non-terminating, still this is a rational number. Is it? Yes. This number is a non-terminating number and recurring, and this is a rational number. Why? Because I can express this number in the form of P by Q. This was the very interesting topic, interesting thing which you learned in your previous class 9. And this number is irrational. Why? Because I cannot express in P by Q form. Why? Because how many decimal digits I have after the point is unknown to me. So how could I place the number of zeros at the denominator, as the number of decimal places is unknown? But this number can be expressed in the form of P by Q. So students, I just in very short I explained what you learned in class 9, because those concepts are also important in your class 10. Since rational number is also a subset of real number, so in this chapter also you will be dealing with some problems which relates directly with the rational and irrational number. This was the reason I started with what you have done in your previous class. Now let's come to the main topic for today, which is chapter 1, rational number. In today's video, I will be explaining you two most important terms for this chapter. Most important terms I should not say, but it should be a topic I should say. Those topics are Euclid's division algorithm and Euclid's division lemma. In fact, it would not be wrong to say that both the things, that is Euclid's division algorithm and Euclid's division lemma, are correlated with each other. So before we start, what is Euclid's division algorithm? First you need to know what is algorithm. Algorithm are the steps of method which we follow for solving any kind of problem. For getting into the solution of any kind of problem, we do any problem in a step-by-step method. That steps are called as algorithm. Euclid's division algorithm states that if I divide any two positive integers, if I am dividing any two positive integers, I will be getting two things there. One is quotient and the other is remainder. On dividing, suppose if I divide A with B, A divided by B. So on dividing A divided B, A with B, I will be getting a remainder and I will be getting the quotient. In your very earlier classes, in your lower classes, you have studied that whenever you divide any two number, it will follow a rule, which is dividend equals to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Dividend equals to divisor into quotient plus remainder. So this is the very easy thing which you know from for many years. So this is all about the most important topic of division algorithm also. So if I divide into two positive integers, I will be getting a remainder and I will be getting the quotient, where remainder will always be lesser than the divisor. Okay. So this is very easy. Division algorithm is used in many applications in our daily life. Division algorithm is used in many applications, like in this chapter we will be studying how Euclid's division algorithm can be used to determine the HCF of two numbers. With the help of Euclid's division algorithm, you can find the HCF of any two numbers. This is one of the most important application of division algorithm in our daily life. So this should be clear to you. Okay, now let's come to the next topic for today's explanation video, is the Euclid's division lemma. In fact, students, as I said you, in Euclid's division algorithm, whatever it states is directly correlated with Euclid's division lemma. Before it was Euclid's division algorithm and then it was given the name of Euclid's division lemma. Why lemma specific word is used in here is because, what is lemma actually, you have to know. Lemma is a mathematically proven statement. Whenever we can prove something in mathematics, we can call that statement as lemma. Not only this, but also with the help of that mathematical proven statement, you can prove the other statements of mathematics also. This mathematical lemma, this Euclid's division lemma, help us to prove the other division algorithms. Help us to prove the other important statements in mathematics in different chapters. So that is why it is called as lemma. What is Euclid's division lemma? These specific lines which I am going to say, you students, should be known to you very nicely. Euclid's division lemma states us that if any two positive integers a and b is taken such that if a is divided by b, there exist other two more integers, say q and r, such that which can be expressed as a equals to bq plus r. So for any two positive integer a and b, so for any two positive integer a and b, there exist another two integers q and r, such that a equals to bq plus r. Now student, one definite thing which will arise in your mind is, what is a, b, q and what is r? A is actually the number which you are dividing. In fact, in very easiest term, I can see it as dividend. What is b? Since I am dividing a divided by b, since a is dividend, so b will always be divisor, q is again quotient and r is the remainder. Again, if you look backward, you will find that this is most probably similar with this statement which you are going to do in this chapter. So here r is always less than the divisor b, but r can be greater than equal to 0. That means remainder can be 0, but remainder, if it is not 0, but will always be lesser than the divisor. So if I suppose very easy example, if I suppose divide 5 divided by 2, what I will be getting here? I will be getting as 5 equals to 2 into 2 plus 1. So this 5 is the dividend, this 2 is the divisor, this 2 is the quotient, and this 1 is the remainder. And you see student here, this 1 is lesser than this divisor 2. So this 1 will always be lesser than the divisor, and maybe 0 sometimes if the divisor is a factor of dividend. If the divisor is a factor of dividend, then we can get the remainder as 0. So this was Euclid's division lemma. With the help of Euclid's division lemma, students, we can prove many things. since it's a lemma, it can be used to prove the other mathematical statements. But the most important thing in this chapter which we will be doing is how to find the HCF of any two numbers using Euclid's division lemma. Basically, this kind of question comes in your exam many times. It has already come in class 10 board exams. Like with the help of Euclid's division lemma, find the HCF of this and this number. Let us take a very common example, very good example to understand it better. Suppose if I am dividing a number 225, I want to divide 225 with 135. Suppose this is dividend, this is division. Now the question is, you have to find, okay, not divide actually, we will be finding the HCF of 225 and 135. This is your question. Your question is, find the HCF of the 225 and 135 using Euclid's division lemma. So how will we do? We will be doing step by step. I can express 225 as 225 equals to 135 into 1 plus how much? Plus it will be 90, right? I can express, whenever I divide 225 with 135, I will get this statement according to Euclid's division lemma. Dividend equals to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Now the next step is step 1. This is step 1. Step 2 is, now take this 135 here and you have to express this 135 using divisor as 90. So it will be 90 into 1 plus 45. Now see student here, look it carefully, that 135 which I got here as divisor is now used as dividend here, and 90 which I got remainder there is now used as divisor in the next step. Similarly, I will be continuing this process until and unless I get 0 at the remainder. This is the remainder. Until and unless I don't get the 0, these steps will go on continuing. What will be the step 3 then? Step 3 will be, this 90 will now become divisor, that means 90 and this 90 will become dividend and this 45 will become the divisor. That means if I express 90 with the help of 45, it will be 45 into 2 plus 0. So students, as I said, I will be continuing with this method, with these steps until and unless I don't get 0. So student, you can see it very nicely. In the third step, I am getting remainder as 0. Whenever I get the remainder as 0, I will stop my calculation right there only. And my answer, that means the HCF of these two numbers will be the number present as divisor in the last step. So as a divisor, what number is present in the last step? It's 45. So my answer, that means the HCF of 225 and 135 will be 45. Again I repeat, for your better understanding, you will be following this method step by step until and unless you don't get 0 and in the last step. When you get the 0 as remainder in the last step, at that step you will be seeing what is the divisor. Whatever the divisor in that step will be, that will be your HCF. So students, this is a very basic application of using Euclid's division lemma in mathematics. Basically in class 10 for this specific chapter, you will be using Euclid's division lemma mainly to find the HCF of any two numbers. So students, now we are going to start the exercise for first chapter. Very few questions which are I think very important and should be should be known to you, so that your concept is very much clear, so that your concept is clear how to use Euclid's division lemma in proving many different things. We will be starting the exercise solving process with various specific questions in my next explanation video. Very thankful, thankful to you that you have gone through the video, and I hope that you have understood the topic. With this hope, I end up my video here. Thank you, students.